Hey everyone, Sparks here, back for another installment of Major Minor. So, last time around, we started exploring the bunker a bit more, and talked to a few more people. We learned a bit more about what's Rook's Pass, and that the tablet that he's been typing away on has been used to communicate with a digital replication of his mentor, which little bit creepy that he actually went through the effort of recreating his mentor, but also a bit sad to learn that this is the kind of thing he's been dealing with. Hopefully he'll be able to deal with things now and move on. It does seem that keeping him alive has helped to motivate him to do just that, which is good. I'm glad I did that. Still feel bad about Keela though, and I hope we'll be able to bring him back. I even promised Rook that we'd do just that. But we also had a conversation with Shock, and learned that he had started out wanting to be a professional soccer player, and then tried to get into the military, then ended up as in a fight club, and finally ended up as a guitarist for Clace. And all of that history is simply because of one event. An event that seems to be connected across at least 4 characters' histories at this point. Because Acheron and Maxine lost their mother and father in an accident, in an investor meeting accident. And Rook lost his mentor in an investor meeting, and Shock lost his father in an investor meeting. It is highly likely that the investor meeting question for all of these characters is in fact the same one. So I'm hoping that this time around we'll actually find out if that is indeed the case. Because if it is, that is too much of a coincidence that all these people had their fates changed by one event. So let's get back to the game and find out. It looks like I might be getting closer to the surface. The air is less stuffy, and I feel a slight breeze. It's nice to feel the outside air once more. I turn a corner and notice Inumi standing there. I knew he'd be the next one we talk to. He's writing on the green wall with some chalk. I look closer. He's doing math. The same equation that saved our lives. Is he trying to figure out how to solve the problem? After all, Acheron gave him the answer earlier. Maybe he wanted to learn it on his own. Hi. I greet him back with a small wave. I ask him what he's up to. Just doing some math. I have an exam coming up soon. I don't want to fail. He seems to be taking his studies seriously. Ask him if he has some time to chat. After all, we might be here for a while. Yeah, sure. I have some questions for you, actually. Acheron told me a story about his sister. He said that she had powers, but he said that you two do as well. Does that mean you and Acheron are bad? I laugh, but this makes Inumi look confused. Let him know that having powers doesn't make you bad. It's what you do with them that decides your allegiance. In this case, Acheron and I weren't evil. In fact, we were dedicated to bringing Max down. I'll let him know that she'll pay for what she did. I wish it didn't have to be like that. You shouldn't have to make someone pay, especially not for being bad. You poor innocent child. It's clear you still have a lot to learn about the world. It's just a shame, really, that the world is this way. That things can't be just nice and everyone getting along. But yeah, the goal should be something different. I agree. It's like not having bad people at all. Everyone would still be alive in that case. Yeah, it's true, but it's not that simple. In fact, I know that's not what he really wants. He just wants his brother to be alive again. You're never the world of bad intentions. Ugh, which is a shame. Yeah, sorry, you're right. We always had so much fun together. But now, I'll get sent to another home. I really wish I could stay with the tour. It was finally starting to feel like home. I mean, a real one. With a real family. Oh, if only Bro was given the same powers. He's all about saving people, you know. Just like he saved me a few years ago. What do you mean by get sent to another home? For that matter, how did Clay save him? Ask him what he meant by that. Have curiosity. Yay. He puts the piece of chalk in his pocket. He looks a little nervous or hesitant. Yeah. Talking about this must not be easy. I promised I'd never tell anybody this. Even Singe said I never could. But I think I can trust you, Sparks. We've been through a lot, haven't we? We haven't even known each other long. I really wish you could have met Bro. Me and Clace had a lot in common. Maybe that's why we got along so well. We both lost our parents when we were young. But he had an important life ahead of him. He got caught up in fame and success. So he didn't have the trouble that I did. My parents died. I was put in a home. Didn't really have any other family. But I think they rushed to put me there. It's like they wanted to get rid of me. They didn't care who looked after me. My foster parents were really rude to me. There must have been a lot of kids like me. It's like they have to move fast. The government doesn't care about quality. Yeah, a lot of foster parents are literally just taking kids for the money. And a lot of others don't. They take in the kids because they actually want to look after them. Seems like you got the former. My foster parents ended up getting divorced. I don't think my foster father was happy. He started to take his anger out on me. Oh, he had a bunch of old pictures I loved. Pictures of me and my real parents. I even had letters from them too. I didn't develop as fast as I should have, so he practiced writing a lot. I had to learn how to do all the letters. I came home from a walk one night. I saw my foster father tearing them apart. You have to move on, he said to me. I think he was talking to himself. He must have missed my foster mom. That's the night he got really angry. He started to hit me a lot. He kept telling me it was my fault. It got between him and his wife. But I knew that it wasn't true. They signed up for this program. They knew that what they were getting into. That's remarkably extreme. I'm so sorry that they had to go through that. Some people just aren't fit to be parents. I sighed with him, telling him that he did nothing wrong. I ran from him and hid inside a closet. I took his phone and called the police. They came and helped me immediately. They said they'd find me another home. But I was really scared, so I ran away. I didn't want more parents like that. I wanted my real parents back. I took a photo with me when I ran. It was ripped in half, but still fixable. I remember finding myself in a back alley. I was hugging the photo and crying. I cried so much that I could barely see. Eventually, someone found me. They asked if I was okay. I said I was, but I was lying. That's the first time I met Bro. He asked me what was wrong. He thought that maybe I was lost. I guess I was, to be honest. That's not why I was crying. I told him everything that happened. It seemed like he didn't believe me. But it's just because he was shocked. He told me that he knew what I went through. He lost his parents at a young age too. He had been moving around the world. He didn't have a real home either. I showed him the picture of my parents. He took one half and just stared at it. Before I knew it, he was crying too. We cried in that alley for a long time. It It's like we both had the same wound. Started to hear mooing from somewhere. That's when he told me he was a singer. He missed his show just to talk to me. With me. They were booing since he wasn't there. So he canceled an entire concert just to help Inumi? I don't know if that's noble or irresponsible. I don't know either. It really is actually kind of questionable. Perhaps it's both. Either way, leaving Illumi alone would have been bad. Seems like they bonded over childhood tragedies. I heard his music before, on the radio, but I didn't know what he looked like. I was surprised when he told me who he was. Those people are always so happy. They have lots of fans and money. You don't ever picture them crying. And I never really saw him cry since then. So it must have been a really rare thing. He promised me that things would be okay. He said I'd find a family again. Sometimes, you just have to wait. He told me all about his new family. He toured the world with awesome people. They all looked out for one another. It was exactly what I wanted in my life. I deserved better than what I had. It wasn't my fault that my parents died. Why should I have to suffer for that? I agree. Why should you? You shouldn't. You deserve to be happy. I was stupid, and asked him to bring me. I wanted to have a family like that. He laughed and said he couldn't do that. For some reason, I didn't believe him. When he left the alley, I followed him. It was dark, and I didn't want to be alone. He said he'd watch me until morning, but then he'd have to bring me somewhere. He was on a tour and had to get going. That's the night I met Singe. He was so mad at Clace. He ditched his entire audience. Singe said Clace was just starting out. He couldn't afford publicity like this. He'd need a really good excuse. So Clace told him everything. How we met in the alley, how I needed help, even how we ended up crying together. The excuse was enough for Singe. But the audience knew the reason. They deserved to know what happened. I mean, they paid to see Clace after all. I'd be mad too if I wasted my money. Especially if I had no idea why. Clace said that he'd be open. He'd tell them exactly what happened. Plus it would come off as good PR. Stopping to help an orphan boy? Doesn't get any nicer than that. I remember them getting into a big fight. Singe thought it wouldn't be good enough. Clace would have to do something more. That's when he decided to take me along. But it seemed really weird to me. Was I just an excuse for the audience? Just a moment ago, he said no. I was both grateful and confused. My partner is standing behind me now. Please don't hurt me. Oh wait, no, you wouldn't hurt me. 'Cause you're a good boy, aren't you? Psh. Silly puppo. Silly puppo. Anyways, back to reading. I was grateful and confused. It couldn't be worse than my last home. That's why I said he liked saving others. I don't know where I'd be otherwise. Maybe another home, getting hit again. Those government programs don't even care. There's a number they want to lower. They'll put you almost anywhere they can. So, I guess bro adopted me. It probably seems weird and sudden, but you'd understand if you were us. Two victims can connect on a deep level. You know exactly what their pain is like. I felt his, and he felt mine. But he was in a position to help. I couldn't just turn him down. So I ended up going along. Singe made a statement to the media. He also filed all of the paperwork. The audience was very understanding, especially since they'd rescheduled the show. So none of their money would go to waste. In the end, it seemed like everybody won. That's why I got involved in the tour. That was a few years ago now. Clace, Shock, and Rocker got way more famous. That does make a lot of sense. Explains why Inumi thinks they're brothers. But I have to agree, it was a little odd. That's a big life change for just one night. But I can't begin to assume what they felt. Perhaps in the moment it was the right thing to do. The world is full of weird stories like that. It only mattered that everybody was happy in the end. It was really cool to travel the world. I got to see all sorts of neat things. I got to see how cool Bro really was. The audience always cheered for him. As soon as he stepped out on the stage, I wanted to be like that one day too. I looked up to him. He taught me so much. He even helped me get homeschooling done. I still had to graduate, like everyone else. But I had a big, happy family. Just like I always wanted. Well, except for when Singe is mad. He laughs softly, and I do as well. Bro even taught me how to write properly. I was finally at the level I should have been. So I started to write letters to my parents. I knew that they'd never get them. But it made me feel happy either way. Like I was actually talking to them. I remade the letters my foster dad ruined. But this time, they were perfect. Just like my parents would have wanted. And I taped the picture together. I keep it framed by my bed all the time. I say goodnight to them in heaven. Aww. Police always said that I'd see them again. But I can look forward to seeing him too. We'll be one happy family up there. Oh, you are too cute, you little ball of fluff. Aww. Till then, I'll write to him as well. He walks away and goes back to the wall. He resumes his math after pulling out the chalk. So that's the story of how they all got together. And I guess how they got pulled apart. He told me he was studying, but he definitely wasn't. I saw the equation. I knew what he was doing. But I wasn't about to call him out on his bluff. Especially not after he opened up to me like that. So I wish him good luck as I start to leave. I look at the time on my phone. Almost midnight. The battle for the Ark would soon come to a close. Knowing that, I walk back the way I came. Must have talked to everybody here by now. Acheron mentioned that Daz and Singe were elsewhere. I hope that they were okay, since times were tough. Speaking of tough times, something catches my eye. There's a chalk drawing on the wall beside me. It's a picture of Inumi and Clace holding hands. The text underneath reads, "I miss you, bro." It's the last thing I'd see before I leave him behind. Wow. Well, save time. And that took not long, actually. Let's keep going, see where we get. I should probably make my way back to Acheron. It was almost midnight. It's almost 1. Reiyo was sure up here, so I wanted to be there. I need to get to Terra and end this for good. I didn't run into anybody on my way back. Perhaps they branched out in search of food. And for a moment, I wondered where Jade was. Acheron didn't mention her. She must be with Singe. Maybe Reiyo would know what happened to me earlier. If he was giving up the Ark, I'd need answers. Now. There's a chance I might never see him again. I turn a few corners and arrive back where I started. I take a deep breath before I enter the room. This might be my final opportunity to get some answers. When I enter the room, I see Acheron standing there. He's staring at a pocket watch, counting down the time. All of his hard work was about to bear fruit. He turns around and gives me a wide smirk. As midnight approached, it was clear that he won. It's hard to believe this is all coming to a close. So, this is it, huh? Take down the corrupt leader of Armstrong, become the ruler of both life and death. All in a day's work, it would seem. He laughs, like it was all so easy. Maybe it was, at least to him. He's one of the smartest men I've ever met. Or would cunning be a better word? Well, I'm sure that many words would describe this man. But soon enough, he'd be the Ark's new master. At least he'd be more open with me than the last one. Just under a minute now. I'd love to see the look on Max's face. It wasn't karma. It was me. This was a lesson long in the making. You hear about killing to seize power, but death is not always the answer. She bastardized our parents' tenets. Progression through protection. They'd be ashamed of her rulership. Max in the Ark would be a disaster. Her philosophy is proof of that. She'd usher in a new dark age. I didn't do this just for me. I did it to save the world from suffering. You could say that I am a savior too. I'll do what my parents always wanted. I'll make this world a better place. A place where I'm proud to be an Armstrong. He looks at the pocket watch one more time. I can tell by the look on his face that we're close. Time to see if this was worth fighting for. I press my back against the wall and ready myself. I've experienced this enough to know what it feels like. Acheron remains still, standing tall and proud. Again, it's in his mind. He had nothing left to fear. I scream out in agony and clutch my chest. I expected to feel the pain, but it's still so much. With disbelief that Acheron is unaffected. He stands there, fists clenched, panting heavily. How could he withstand so much pain? I look at his eyes and spot a faint glisten. Perhaps it would be best if I do what he did. Stand up straight, focus on my breathing. We stand there, united, both waiting for Reiyo. I feed off his energy until I no longer feel suffering. And hello, Reiyo. Congratulations, Acheron. You've won. He turns to me and smiles softly. Did you just knock over your Fanta?
No, my baby! It's so busy.
Aww.
What now?
Aww. And this is why you watch what you're doing. No. You go get chocolates. He turns to me and smiles softly. And it's nice to see you, Sparks. You wouldn't be too far behind. Acheron and I exchange glances, as if in waiting. So, what happens next? I'm sure that there's lots to teach me. That would be an understatement. We'll have lots to talk about together. But I have to talk to Sparks as well. Do you think we could go back to the Ark? I feel safer discussing things there. I'd like to see my home one last time. I look at Acheron and he nods. I see no problem granting Reiyo this request. It's not like things would be any different than normal. Thank you very much. I know that this time he asked us for permission. Definitely different than the Reiyo I first met. It was nice to know that we finally had a say in things. Almost like we completed some rite of passage. I have a question, though. One last thing before we go. Of course, what is it? You can see a lot from the Ark, right? You have a grasp on what we're all doing? If you're observant enough, yeah. It's a skill that you hone in time. Do you know what happened to Max? If Sinjin and Daz are safe? Rest assured, your plan succeeded. That's why I'm visiting you now. Max is behind bars. Everyone is safe. Good. Let's hope she doesn't escape. Are you taking her power away from her? I think I'll let her keep it, actually. What? She'll be in prison for her whole life. All it would do is elongate her sentence. I doubt she'll make use of it at all. Besides, control of time means nothing. Especially not when you're a prisoner. I know that feeling all too well. She can use the power to try and escape. But it'll only drive her insane. Freedom will always be just out of reach. I wouldn't worry too much about her. She's useless where she is. That's probably what you wanted anyway. Acheron nods, showing no facial expression. I'm sure how he is taking this information. But, if I could take a guess, I'm sure he was happy. Well then, shall we go? I can't suspend places for long, remember? And you don't want to be trapped like this. We all agree and await our travel to the Ark. But I tell Reiyo that I want answers too. I was more than a little confused at recent events. Yes, of course, you'll get answers. There's nothing left for me to hold back. All of our plans have come to fruition. What does he mean by our plans? Was he playing at something too? Both of you, close your eyes. When you open them, you'll witness change, and the gears will make their final turn. Ooh. I close my eyes and keep them tightly shut. It isn't long before we're taken to the Ark. He wouldn't even have to open my eyes. I know the feeling. It's almost like this place was my second home. But if everything was truly coming to an end, this might be the last chance I get to see it. To make sure that I leave with satisfaction. The true nature of everything had to be revealed. Take a deep breath before I open my eyes. Welcome to your new home, Acheron. At least now I can say goodbye. Sparks too, as it's our last time here. He gestures broadly at the vast space surrounding us. So many memories. I hope you'll create some good ones too. You have lots of responsibility here. I'm ready for this burden, Reiyo. Let's start with bringing some people back. There were those who didn't need to die. Of course, but not so fast. I have to teach you how things work. Otherwise, you'd only cause damage. The Ark is a very intricate machine. It requires focus and resolve. In quantities you can't even imagine. I see. So what do we do first? There's no need to hesitate any further. Is Acheron getting impatient? I don't think I've seen him like this before. I can't blame him, though, if his goal is so close. Don't worry, we'll begin soon. I need to talk with Sparks first. His journey is coming to an end. You've claimed your victory, Acheron. You've seized your destiny. Sparks still needs to do so. I understand. The Savior's duty is not yet complete. What exactly is that duty? I have reason to believe it affects me. The Ark may even be at stake. I don't want my rule to be cut short, Reiyo. No need to worry. It won't be. The force of death can never be defeated. There will always be an Ark in place, and as such, it will always need a ruler. You won't be going anywhere anytime soon. You're here for the long haul, Acheron. But as for the nature of Sparks' task, I'm afraid I don't even know that much. There's only one person who does. And that's who I'll be sending him to. I'd relax while you can, Acheron. After that, I have to teach you everything. Very well. Take your time. I won't intrude. I'll just wait around. Hey, don't be so hasty. There is something I can give you. It might help you pass the time. My sight. Reiyo snaps his fingers, and Acheron grunts in pain. He stumbles back, his eyes shooting wide open. What is this? I can't see anything, Reiyo. He starts panicking, looking around frantically. On the contrary, you can see everything. You're just taking in a lot of information. Relax, let it flow at a normal pace. Use it to watch over those you love. I won't be too long with Sparks. When I get back, I'll give you more. I can see so many people. But wait, this isn't Earth. What am I looking at, Reiyo? You must be watching over Terra. Perhaps you desire something there. Don't worry. It fluctuates at first. Enjoy the view, Acheron. I won't keep you waiting too long. Prepare for some rigorous training. He smirks at me as Acheron slowly fades away. I don't know where he went. We're alone now. Perhaps it was my chance to get some final answers. I'm sorry for this honesty I've given you. You deserve the truth from now on. That's exactly what you'll get. After we're done talking, I'll go back. Acheron has to go through lots of training. I need to feel comfortable when I leave. I just didn't want him listening in. This started between the two of us. It's only fitting that it ends that way. He gives me a warm smile before he continues. I see you've met Nami and Nagi. They're a force of pure evil, as well as the start of my story. It might seem relatively new to you, but for me, it's been quite a while. Let me see how I can explain this. Everything I've done, I did to help you, including my surrender of the Ark. It was the last thing I wanted to do. There is great power within you, as both Veloquez and Nagi have stated. Power enough to deliver salvation, or destruction if put in the wrong hands. That is what Nami and Nagi strive for. To be honest, they almost had it. The moment Nagi drove his blade into you, a massive burst of energy was released. It made even my powers look infantile. They sought to harness the power within you, likely to achieve some nefarious goal. Destruction of an infinite scope, I'd wager. Most people wouldn't be able to do this, but they possess a special set of weapons. Weapons that allow them to use this energy. What is the energy, you ask? That is something I can't tell you. Veloquez will have to explain it. Regardless of that, it was unleashed. For a moment, they had won. They could achieve anything they wanted. At least, that's what they thought. They were unaware of my existence. Veloquez hid me here for a reason. The power spread like a huge wave, the potential to span the entire galaxy. But the first place it touched was here. I felt it within me. I was in awe of how strong it was. How could one person house this power? But I had to snap back to reality. They weren't unleashing it peacefully. I had to do something to help. When it reached me, I tapped into it. The powers it gave me were godlike. But I wouldn't be blinded like them. I couldn't have our universe destroyed. Extremely counterproductive, if you ask me. So I did what I was best at doing. It amplified my ability to play with time. I was able to suspend all of Terra. A temporary fix, but a fix nonetheless. Their wave of destruction came to a halt. But I had to formulate a plan. I couldn't keep Terra frozen forever. I needed to save all of you from Nagi. But I couldn't do that in suspension. I am limited in my physical interactions. I realized I'd need to leave the Ark. Not temporarily, but for good. And I'd take a sliver of my power with me. Enough to buy a few hours at least. Your wounds needed tending to, and you all had to get to safety. Normally, leaving the Ark is impossible. With this amplified power, I could. I just needed to find a fitting ruler. But now, getting a tad ahead of myself. I didn't want to force this duty upon you, so I'd sent you back. I gave you a choice. Explains why I ended up in the supermarket right after. That was one of the burning questions in my mind. I knew you wouldn't back down. You're not that kind of person. But it wouldn't be right to assume. Glad you agreed to partake, Sparks. It meant my plan was free to move forward. Watch you, and find myself a new ruler. I picked Acheron and Max, of course. I'll let them battle for a spot in the Ark. I'm sure you know how that ended up. I wish I didn't have to give up the Ark. I rather like it here. I really do. But it was necessary to protect you. I have to say, Acheron is resourceful. He used his concept to set up his sister, expose her as corrupt, and put her in jail. Using the world tour as a front, no less. I was honored to witness such genius. I knew that the Ark had a worthy ruler. So, there you have it. My game plan. I used your own power to freeze Terra. I gave you a choice and held a contest. Acheron used this contest to his advantage, achieved his own goal, and won the Ark. For your ownership, I can now go to Terra. I'll save you and your friends from Nagi, and then you can journey right to Veloquez. He'll help your journey come to an end. What? I know it's all confusing, isn't it? The timelines don't exactly add up. I mean, what was the inciting incident? Was it you getting stabbed by Nagi? Or was it you winning the contest? Seems they happened simultaneously. They couldn't happen without each other. One required the other, and vice versa. I've debated for a long time myself. I've realized that I'll never know. I could never comprehend this power, or the scope of what it could accomplish. I mean, why a pop idol's world tour? Seemed like a peculiar venue. But I only recreated what I knew. That's where it gets interesting. Does that mean I created it to begin with? A self-fulfilling prophecy, so to speak? I'll probably never know. Let me see what else I need to tell you. I have to make sure I don't hold back. Tilts his head up and ponders. Mind is still trying to process all of this. This all happened because Nagi stabbed. The world tour, the contest, the killings. All of it was to help Reiyo break free. He wanted a chance to save us from Nami and Nagi. The final use of his power would be spent on all of us. Can't believe he's been hiding this the whole time. Oh, of course, one more thing. Something that may or not be a shock. Terra houses the souls of the dead. Okay, that was something I kind of had figured out, but okay. So, there never really was a ritual. It was just to test their loyalty. I sent over whoever Max killed that night. They handed these people over to Player, and as we've seen, they're all free now. They're likely alive and well on Terra. Even Endy and Conrad were resourceful. They used this contest in their own way, to gain Player's trust and take him down. Everybody so far has achieved their goals. That is, except for you, Sparks. You must pay one last visit to Terra. Veloquiz will tell you everything. You can finally become the savior. This is what you are meant to do. Perhaps you can bring back the lost. If I could turn back time with your power, I can't even imagine what you're capable of. And everything that's happened so far, it was all to save you from Nagi's blade. In that instance, it all came together. All of the anger, the hate, the sorrow, the fates of those who didn't make it. They've paved the path to this very moment. Terra still remains in stasis. I'm going to rescue you, Sparks. You and all of your friends. It's time for you to save Terra. Don't let all of this sacrifice be in vain. That's the only thing I want in return. Please, live out your duty as savior. The lives of so many rest on your shoulders. I watched what happened in the bunker. Some of your friends opened up to you, but their stories are in no way unique. Everybody has a story of their own, but without you, they will end. Please, help all of them continue. He starts fading away, and I reach out to him. You know, I'm gonna miss it here. I forgot what this place looked like. Then, I gave Acheron my sight. It's beautiful, isn't it? He smiles at me as he fades away even more. For the first time, I got to see you. Now I know what our savior looks like. He looks like hope. Before I know it, he's gone. Off to save me, complete his mission. The mission he's been waiting so long to complete. The quest to save the savior. Wow. Hard to believe. I'm probably going to have to cut this episode in half too, because the next save point is so far away. Well, we'll see what happens. Next thing I know, I'm back here. Reiyo must have sent me away after our little chat. But for one thing, I feel none of the inertia. That means I'm not going to Terra, but... Keela! My friend! Hey, Sparks. Is what that man said true? That you're gonna save a lot of people? I'm taken aback by Keela's sudden appearance. After seeing Rocker here, it's not so odd. He seems to know all about what Reiyo said. So, he must have been seeing things from my eyes too. Reiyo said Terra houses the souls of the dead. If that was the case, then why was Keela here? It's probably something Veloquiz will tell me. If that's true, could you save me? I feel kind of lonely here, you know? It's just me and millions of voices. It's driving me insane to hear all of that. Thankfully it stopped when you came. I really am glad to see you again. I nodded him in return. Tell him it's true. Everything that Reiyo said was the truth. I've been juggling that fate for a while now. That's kind of heavy. Though, Max did hint at it. Over the loudspeaker, I mean. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you it was her. She threatened to blow up the building. I had to hide it in order to keep you safe. But I'm glad that she's behind bars. She doesn't deserve to walk free anymore. She's done far too much to hurt people. He clenches his fists in visible anger. I'd never believe this if I wasn't here. I feel like I'm stuck in purgatory, so I have to open my mind a little bit. But all of this is so extraordinary. To be honest, my brother would have loved it. He was really into all that anime stuff. His brother, huh? I believe he mentioned that back on day one. The train, he said he was visiting his brother. Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Kind of regret it now, to be honest. A lot of the stuff I told you was false. Max knew all about my lies. She said you'd all hate me if I told you. So opening up was the last thing I wanted. But at the same time, we're friends. I mean, you won the same contest after all. We're gonna have so much fun. Don't even know why you picked Rook. I'm not going to hate you for it. I lied to you a lot. I deserved it. But now that I know the truth, that it might be possible to save me, you feel like you deserve the truth. It's up to you to decide, Sparks. If you think I'm worth saving. After all, I've been a huge fool. Much to my dismay, he starts to fade away. He seems to think this is my fault and panics. That perhaps I don't even want to hear his story. No, please, let me tell you. I want you to know why I lied. He looks around frantically and reaches out towards me. I call out to him, reach forward and turn. He comes back into view with a large smile. Oh, yay. Get to hear his story. That's good. I missed you, my blue friend. Perhaps close enough to maintain a connection. He takes a deep breath, and perhaps a sigh of relief. Why are you laughing? What are you laughing about? I'll find out after I'm done, won't I? Well, gonna have to try and wrap this up. God damn you, making me curious when I'm in an emotional scene that actually makes me want to cry. Mlem, that is what you are. He takes a deep breath, or perhaps a sigh of relief. Now it will be possible for him to tell me his story. It's kind of a long one, but it involves how I won the contest. It all started a few years ago. I know you won't hate me for this. I had my reasons, as you'll find out. I only ever did it out of love. See, I kind of had a brother. He used to be my best friend. We were inseparable, no matter what. Some people say twins are like that. He was older than me, but by minutes. Parents would always confuse us. All of those twin cliches, they're real. It's almost comedic at times. But then my brother got the diagnosis. It was cancer. And terminal too. Doctors gave him 5 years to live. Couldn't even leave the hospital. But I'd visit him every single day. He'd always have his earphones in. I told him it was rude. He didn't care. He liked the sound of pop music, he said. It was always so upbeat and bubbly. It made him happy and hopeful again. He was a really big fan of Clace. But he also liked shock and rocker. Oh god. God damn it! But he also liked shock. God damn it, that hurt. That sneeze actually hurt. Ow. Laughing at my pain. How could you? He had all of their CDs and everything. But as time went on, his condition worsened. The hope he found through music, the hope he found through music was a dud. Nothing could pull him through what he had. That is, until the contest was announced. He was so full of happiness and joy. He'd get to meet the people he idolized. But at that point, he was bedridden. So every day, I'd buy 2 cans. We'd share them, hoping that he'd win. Of course, it was all a pipe dream. I still remember buying the last cans. Went to see him, and his room was empty. I wasn't stupid, you know. I knew exactly what that meant. He passed away. My brother was gone. That's where I've been dishonest. And this is what I've kept from all of you. My brother, his name was Keela. That's right. I've been lying all along. And my real name is Eddie. I'm sorry. What? This wasn't the real Keela? Is that what he was trying to tell me right now? I stared at him blankly, utterly shocked and confused. The day I found his room empty, I didn't know what to do with myself. I sat there anywhere, drank the pop star. And wouldn't you know it, I won. I sat there crying for hours. Why couldn't it have been a day earlier? I decided not to let it go to waste. I wouldn't rob him of his final dream. He deserved to experience what he wanted. That's all there is to it. I took his ID and pretended to be him. We were twins, so it wasn't really hard. This way, he'd get what he wanted. I know it doesn't make much sense, but it did in my head at the time. He starts to cry in front of me. So he came here to fill his brother's dying wish. That's really noble of him. I respect that. I'm still taken aback by his true identity. There's more to it, you know. Initially, the hospital hid it from me. But I found out that he took his own life. Not everybody can stay strong with cancer. There are so many stories of people winning. It makes you forget that they can give up. Turned out, he lost all of his hope. He thought we'd never win the contest. You'd never guess why. He looks away from me, like he's scared to continue. Because you found the first can. He felt like his odds were getting worse, till he felt like he didn't stand a chance. I was responsible for Keela's suicide? Give up hope because I found the first can? I almost can't believe what I'm hearing right now. No, I really hate Tokyo. I hate maid cafes. I hate everything. Most of all, I can't stand Glace. His music reminds me of my brother. The smile he had when he listened to it. A smile that I'll never see again. It really is because of you. Clenches his fist, trembles angrily. There's really nothing I can do. My brother doesn't have room for hate. It's not in his nature to hold a grudge. So it's not fair to lash out on you. If I'm being him, I have to play the part. That's why I've been so overly friendly. Everything about Japan would excite him. So I tried to act that way too. This was for him, not for me. But I was constantly conflicted. Should I be kind to you like he would? Or should I be mad like I would? Guess it's pretty obvious what I chose. I'm going to continue doing it. I'll be your friend, for his sake. Everything I've done was for him. Even now that I'm dead, I'll still do it. I'm never giving up this act of mine. When we drank the pop star together, he'd always talk about potential winners, who he'd like to spend a tour with. He said they'd be great friends. In fact, he said he'd keep in touch. A tour like this makes people bond. But look at how it turned out. Maybe it's better that he wasn't here. He wanted happiness, not this mess. Even if he lived, he would have died. I was assuming you still chose him. I forgive you for letting me die, though. I lied to everybody. I was sketchy. I don't blame you for favoring Rook. So that's the truth. I hated almost everything about this tour. I hated it before it all went to hell. But I've been doing it all for Keela. Because it's what he would have wanted. There isn't room for what I want. Except, there is one little thing. If you're open to hearing it, that is. I nod, almost instinctively. Still can't believe this weird situation I'm in. He holds me responsible for Keela's death. At the same time, he's pretending to be him. Yeah, it is pretty surprising. Even more so that any parents would name one kid Keela and one Eddie. Kind of weird. Like, personally, I probably would have gone with Keela and Jewel. That way their names link. If I was gonna go with that. But, oh well. I can't imagine being in his situation. Staring at someone you hate. Being their friend. Doing things you hate. But pretending to love them. All in the name of his lost brother. You're going to bring back Keela. Then I'll forgive you for everything. He'll be able to live his dream. He'll be able to befriend you too. And he'll see Tokyo like he's always wanted. He'll get what you took from him. And this is a demand, not a request. I don't even care if you leave me here. He gives me a piercing gaze and a nod. Was it all within my power, I'd do it. He has my word that I bring Keela back. Good. And you're taking him to karaoke. That was one of his favorite things. He starts to fade away. I don't call out to him. Something tells me this isn't like last time. And he didn't have anything else he needed to say. I nodded him, complete understanding of his words. Thank you, Sparks. With your help, he can find life again. That's something I could never hate you for. If you could bring us both back, well, I truly appreciate that. I get to see him smile again. With that, he completely fades away. It wouldn't be long until I was in Terra now. There's one thing I knew above all else. If I truly had this power inside me, I'd bring back everyone that died, and more. There would be no more suffering in these worlds. Everyone would be united with those that they had lost. Yes, that's a fine goal indeed. Close my eyes, my journey to Terra comes to an end. I enter the world with a smile and a newfound resolve. This time, I carry out my duty as a savior. Please save point. Please save point. Yes! Oh my god, that was such a long time, and ooh, we've definitely overshot. Probably gonna have to cut this into 2 and record closing and beginning and endings like I did for a few of the previous episodes. But hopefully that won't be necessary. We'll see when I get to editing. But I think that's enough for now. Yeah, lots of progress. It was nice getting to talk to Keela again. Well, not Keela, Eddie. It was nice that. Learning the truth about him makes everything a lot more solid. And also learning that this entire story is a gigantic time paradox. This is why time travel in stories rarely works. Paradoxes are everywhere. It makes things so bloody confusing. Oh well. Next time around, we'll be back in Terra and we'll get to see... Well, we'll probably get moving to Chapter 9 and hopefully get to the end of it within the next episode. But until then, guys, see ya.